Hey family, it's Tasha, MAMABEAR Prepping. So welcome to the channel, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, super excited to have you. I hope that you enjoy yourself. Get your drink, pull up whatever you're drinking at whatever time of the world it is for you. Let's get into this topic. So today, this is another really popular topic that I get bombarded with in DMs and emails and asked all the time, like, hey, what's going to happen? Where do you think we're going to go? What do you think is going to happen? What can we do to prepare for it? How will we know it happened? Just all these questions about what's going to happen, because people want to know, and so that they can prepare and be ready. Okay. And so what I did was, I'm going to just walk you through my thoughts on where I think we're headed. The things that I think are going to happen over, I'm not even going to put a time limit on it, okay? I'm just going to say over this next period of time, months, years, whatever, I think that these are the things that you could expect. And then I think that there is ways that you can prepare for these things. If you, I'm not saying that you have to believe everything that I say right now, as far as, hey, Mama Bear said this is going to happen, so it's going to happen. No, this is just from me watching world news events, watching things, my experience in life, and what I believe will be things that we have to be concerned with and that we should be preparing for, okay? And I mean it in a way that not preparing for that it could happen in our lifetime, but that these are things that could happen fairly sooner than later. And so these things should be a priority for your level of preparedness. Okay. So first thing I have is longer summer. I think that in general, this year has been really, really tough on a large majority of the country in regards to weather, and what that's doing, that effect that that's having on all types of things, from people's high electric bills to people not having power and having that turned off, being regulated on what they can use, from crops and growing and levels of drought and not having any water, to people dealing with, catastrophic flooding and different natural disasters that are weather related, right? I think that we're going to continue to see that. I've had so many people reach out to me and ask me, what do you think is going on with the weather in regards to our crops? This year has been heavy. A lot of people are having issues growing food. People that have grown food for years are having issues growing food, whether it's drought, whether it's some of them it's nothing, right? Yeah, there's weather. Yes, it's hotter, but they know, okay, we'll get our shade cloths. They're doing the things that they know they've done in the past to help certain weather events, and it's not helping, right? Or it's not necessarily weather. Well, it's weather, but it's stuff like, crazy hail that hasn't really happened in the area before, or crazy wind that hasn't happened in their area before. And they're having problems with growing crops. Some people are reporting to me that they are just growing like crazy and nothing will grow. Nothing is growing. And these are people that have grown food before, know what they're doing, and they're having an issue. Okay. So I think that we're not going to see it into that. I think we're going to see a longer summer, meaning the summer is going to last a little bit longer, going into the traditional winter months. Okay. I think that it's not going to just turn off. For us here in the Pacific Northwest, our rain season and winter season, whatever, it went much farther. Okay. We were dealing with rain and hail in July, right? Just craziness that we're just like, what is going on? When is summer going to get here, right? Of course, it's here now, and it's, dry as all get. It's hot. And we're not even dealing with the level that the majority of the country is dealing with. The east side, you guys are, I can't even imagine living and having to adapt to that level of heat, and then adapt to trying to grow in that and keeping your plants from dying, right? You could be an expert, and what's happening is you have people who are really good at this and they're struggling, right? And there's all other types of stuff that's happening, concerns with our dirt, stuff being put in the dirt, stuff being put in fertilizers, not being able to get maybe some products that we normally could get. So there's a lot of different avenues and ways that this tree splits off in regards to weather, right? What can you do? I think we have to get better at adapting, and we have to get better at preparing our homes to include our whole property, right? This might be an area that wasn't really a concern before, but now we need to think about the things that we need to build or do in order to protect our food better, right? If that's greenhouses, when we didn't typically need greenhouses, we need to build them. If that's some sort of shade or some sort of something to cover them to help those crazy time frames of, high winds, making breaks and having crazy stuff that doesn't maybe normally happen there, hail, or protecting them from flooding, or protecting them from a crazy drought. And what is the game plan for that, right? There's certain things that we might just have to shift of how we do things, okay? We've got to weatherize everything and think about everything when we're talking about protecting our home from weather, right? To include our gardens, our properties, everything. And then learn to adapt. That's one of the biggest skills that you can have in life, is the ability to adapt. And a lot of people can't do it. But if you have the ability to adapt, there's a lot that you can make it through, okay? Next thing I have is winter of shortages. I think that shortages are going to come to a head this winter. I think that that's when we're going to see them come to a point where the majority of people know about it, can see it. But let me tell you, what comes with this is crime, angry people mad that they can't get the things that they want. You're going to have a lot of strife and a lot of angry people, because they are thinking that somebody owes them something and owes them, hey, how dare you not have the product that I need? And we're not talking about, they come in and just the brand that they're looking for, they can't get it. Even though people do get unhinged on stuff like that. But I'm talking more on a heavier level if they come in for a product, period, and that product cannot be found on the shelves. We've been dealing with that with little things here and there that have come off the shelves, and a certain group of people have been paying attention, obviously, right? Mothers around the world were paying attention when there was no formula, right? That was a huge deal. And yes, there was a few other people that were reporting on it or knew about it or talking about it. But that demographic of mothers around the world, desperate mothers trying to adapt and reach out to each other to help each other, that's still happening. That's a big thing. But I'm talking more on a level of the majority can see and feel the products, okay? And there's going to be a lot of angst with people trying to deal with that and not understanding why it's happening. I had somebody, bless her heart, ask me in a chat. I don't know if it was on one of my TikToks or it was YouTube, and she basically just asked me, why do you think we need to stockpile food? And it was just a basic question. But at this point in the game, I was floored at the question, right? Even me, I was floored that she was asking why we needed to stack food, and it was in an innocent way. I don't think it was in a rude way. I don't think she was being a smarty pants. She honestly was like, she was in the room, she could hear us all talking, and she could see the other comments, and she basically asked, like, why should we be stacking food? And I did not take the tone like, what do you mean, what's going on? It was like, well, what? And so that, I could just see the gloss on the face of, why do we need to do that? And that, to me, at this point was mind-boggling, because that's heavy. And I didn't even know where to start to answer. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, are you kidding me? There's so many things. Like, it's not, I could just spew out one thing. It's several things that have been happening around us that should cause the average person concern of food and our ability to get food in the future. Okay. Not now. You go to the store, it's full. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about in the future. You're not going to be able to do that. And there's a lot of things happening right now in our face, that should be concerning and give you concern and pause that, wow, this could be a problem in the future and something I need to think about so that me and my family do not starve. Okay. Next thing I have, and how you do that and how you get ahead of that is you just continue to stack. You continue to do your organization, your inventory, see what holes you need to fill, and just continue to get the things that you need to get. That's all you can do, is continue to get the things you need so that you're not struggling the day that you can't get this stuff, right? You have the things that you want or that you need. Next thing I have is I call this the ride or die effect. Okay. What I mean by this is the time of being a ride or die is going to happen. Either you're going to have ride or dies, you're going to have people, you're going to have families coming together. They're seeing that it's recession. They're seeing that people can't afford stuff. They're seeing the world go crazy, and they come together. Friends, family, they come together, whether that's to live together, build communities together, but they're going to help take care of each other because they're ride or die. And that's that ride side, right? Like, I'm gonna ride with you. We can do this. You know, my sister just moved out, but she was always going to come here if something happens, right? When something happens, she's going to come here. But even if she didn't, right, I would always prepare that she was going to do that and be ready for that. And in my mind of preparedness, and when I do things, I'm always thinking about the people that I know are going to come here. Any groups of people that I know are coming to this home when stuff kicks off, it's part of our preparedness game, right? And so it's important to incorporate that into your everyday, to know that, and know that the folks that you have that are ride or die, right, that you're going to ride with, whether that's neighbors, that's the community that you've built together, other preppers that you've discussed, hey, we'll do this, hey, if it gets crazy here, we're coming to you, if it gets crazy where you're going, you're coming to me, whatever it is, right, those relationships that you've built, and you're going to see a lot of that on a smaller level. You know, people talk about dual family homes, right? A lot of cultures do that already. They have a lot of their family in the home. A lot of Asian families do that already. A lot of Spanish families do that already. And so you have those cultures that do that already easily and are so successful, right? And living together and taking care of each other, right? And riding for each other. And then you're going to have those folks that don't. They don't, and they're going to die. Those are the folks that are going to go off and they're not going to make it. They're going to be homeless, living in cars, living on the streets, don't have anywhere to go, don't have food for their mouths to eat, don't have water, don't have medicine. And eventually that's the die side, right? They're not going to make it. Okay. And so literally, I think what we're going to the future into is more of this idea of, you know, I'm trying to think of the wording, just ride or die. I can't think of the wording right now, you guys, but it's you've got to survive. And how do you do that? And coming together with people, with like-minded family. I know some people are like, I don't have no family like that. Well, then it's not family like that, right? But making those plans now of who that is, and so that you guys can do this together now, make the plans together now, because that is going to be way more popular as we move forward. You're going to have more of a buildup of people coming together, but you're also going to have people that don't have anybody, and this is going to be the end of it. They're not they're not going to have anybody, and they're going to go the opposite way. And those are the people that we talk about when we talk about famine and drought, and we talk about people dying off. You know, it's those people that don't have anybody else and can't provide for themselves, and it's going to be a very, very rough time. Okay. Next thing I have is grid down crisis, right? I think that, and when I talk about this, I don't think this is the enemy, you guys. I don't think this is an attack from the enemy. I think that this, when I talk about grid down, is for years and years and years, I've prepared for grid down. I prepared to have to deal with some sort of our utility breaking down, whether that's the water system, the electric system, gas system, you name it. Something is going to break down, and it's not going to be the enemy. Our sewer system, it's going to be ourselves, our own demise, because we do not spend money on our infrastructure. We do not spend money on these areas. I think that certain companies, of course, have their own level of protection and things that they do to protect themselves. But overall, as a country, our infrastructure is not good. Okay. And I think that our electrical grid, everything is very, very weak. And we have to think that at some point it's going to break, and to prepare for that. Okay. You're preparing that with your grid, your simple grid down kits. All the areas that you need to prepare in to be able to live your life the same way you live it now, but with no power, right? No power leads to a lot of other things, right? Eventually that leads to an issue with possibly the water system, the sewer system, even possibly the gas. Even people that are like, oh, well, we have gas, we'll be fine. Eventually, baby, that runs out, right? And so what's the game plan after that? So you have to be prepared for grid down, the things that are needed to be able to survive, and really your quality of life, okay? Because at the end of the day, all of that stuff is going to get used, okay? And you're not going to have it. And at that point, it's going to be, what are your survival skills to make it past that point, okay? But for anything short term, you totally have in your ability to prepare and to get those things to make life, the quality of life for you and your family, much easier, okay? So the grid down areas, okay? I have several videos on grid down, on the areas of grid down. Maybe I'll try to see if I can find a few of them, put them down in the description box below. I have a few videos on items in general, like a grocery list of things to buy for grid down, but there's very specific areas of grid down that you want to make sure that you're covering down in. And so I'll link those videos in there so that you guys can take a look at those if you haven't already, okay? Let me see. And during a grid down situation or a failure in our infrastructure in one of those areas, I mean, could you imagine the sewer systems, there's no power, and then the sewer systems start going, and then there's no water, and people are really, really freaking out at this point, right? Because it doesn't take long for people to start dying from this, okay? Now, what you should prepare for is physically the things, right? But mentally, nobody's coming to help you, especially if it's on a big scale. Nobody's coming to save you, to bring you food, to bring you water. I mean, if you're lucky enough for some kind of entity to come in and start handing out that stuff, fine. But if this is on a big scale, that's not happening. It's not happening, okay? There's not going to be anybody to come and save you. And so what you do now today to prepare for this is important, okay? And will be the difference. Something else I think that we should be concerned with that I think is going to happen, and I think that this winter, you're going to see a ramp up of the Russian conflict. I think that winter is, his expertise, right? They are used to training in that type of weather, training and fighting, all that good stuff in winter weather, right? They train in that. We do not, other countries do not. Even countries that are close to them that have cold weather like that, their militaries don't really train like they do, okay? And so I think that we should be concerned of how their wargaming changes when winter comes. I'm personally going to be watching how does their build up to winter happen and how their wargaming changes during winter. Okay, I think that they are going to be much more confident and are probably saving some stuff for winter when they know their enemy is the weakest in regards to their military capabilities during winter. Okay. And I think that the way you prepare for this is you just pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to what's going on now as we work into winter, and then watch Europe. Watch the things that are happening in Europe. Watch the military buildup. Watch the different things that Russia will impose on them to make their life difficult in any way that they possibly can as they prepare to move in. Okay, so don't be surprised if we see a heavier stance on the cybersecurity stuff, a heavier stance on those missiles creeping in, a heavier response to making it or easing in their launch of going into those countries. I do not think it's going to end, and I think winter is what we should be concerned with that conflict. That's just me. That's what I'm watching, okay? Take that for what you want to, okay? Next thing I have is not if, but when China pops off. When they pop off their stuff, I think that you should be concerned and be expecting heavy sanctions, a total stop in supply, Okay, so just stop all of supplies. You're not going to get them. It's like whatever you get is whatever you get. And I think you're going to see it right away as soon as you start to order stuff from Amazon. That's going to be the first place that a lot of people see it. Like, why is all this stuff just unavailable or whatever? Unless they do shady stuff where they're like, let's just keep taking their money, but then don't ship the stuff. Okay, so you need to be paying attention because there's some real shady stuff that they could do when it comes to these sanctions and really sticking it to us. Okay, I think you should be concerned about the medication stuff, meds, and I think that at that point when that happens, that's the tipping point here for panic buying. If we haven't seen, because depending on how long they take to do this, if we haven't seen extreme shortages and panic buying already start from something else popping off, right? Not necessarily war, but other things popping off, that could start to crumble before China decides to go in there, okay? So just, you got to pay attention to what's going on around you and really paying attention to, famine and food and the ability to still get stuff. And the minute you start seeing that it's difficult to get stuff, or that those shelves are extremely starting to look very, very bare on a regular basis, not just, oh, there's a hole here, there's a hole here because of a trucking issue or a supply thing, or this just didn't come in or whatever, right? Or hey, a company just decided to not make one aspect of their company, like one of their products, they took off the shelves for money, to save money. Like, paying attention to that stuff so that when you see big increases, big holes, you immediately will be one of those people that know, so okay, something's happening, and you'll be that first initial group that has a jump on, okay, something's happening. I'm feeling a shift, okay? And the medicine is huge. So this area, how you prep, is just water, food, meds. It's the same old. Broken record Tasha over here. I mean, that's how I do, just telling you the same stuff over and over and over. And hopefully you get it in your head that this is the stuff that you need to be doing, right? Water, food, meds. I cannot stress enough. The water stuff alone, it's going to be bonkers. I'm actually scared for people because when there's no water, it's one thing food, because you can adapt. There's stuff to forage. There's food. Okay. Some people don't know it. Okay. But there's animals to hunt. There's food to forage. There's berries. There's greens. There's a lot of stuff. Water though is it's super important. And if you do not have that, you die. If you drink bad water, you die. You do not treat the water as it needs to be treated, you die. You can't get water, you die. It is not a game. Okay? Water is not a game. And that water, when the water thing happens, it's gonna be scary, because these people walking around right now unhinged, like, having a cow over, the line in the grocery turned off and she's not taking customers anymore. People unhinged because they can't get something that they want to get. That's nothing compared to what people are going to turn into when they cannot get water. And so it is extremely important, because it only takes one event, and we're on the precipice. Okay, it only takes one thing for things to go left and there to be panic buying, and then that water is gone. Okay. And you have droughts happening. It's not the easiest to just put that water back and let them elites that are in charge of the water find out, something crazy is happening. Do you think they're going to put water on the shelves for us? Are you kidding me? Like, get it together, okay? Nobody's going to come and save you. Make sure that you get your water and you have a way to filter it. Get you a large filtering system. Read a book, learn something about crude filtering, anything, okay? Get you some big pots and have the ability and have the things needed to start a fire and boil some water, okay? You've got to think that through and get that. Do not sleep on that. And the medicine, okay? Man, I'm telling you what. Next thing I have is never-ending pandemics. They're not going away, baby. Let me take a drink. They're not going away. Pandemics, now that they're here, now that we've been exposed, all right, they're not going away. I think the cool thing about this is I saw a meme the other day about, hey, They meant to have, this pandemic, whatever, right? These pandemics, and it causes people to be awakened, right? We're awake because all these things are happening with this. There was so much drama all around this, and there's still drama happening, and it's not going away. It's here forever, you guys. And then on top of that, there's other stuff. Yeah, there's monkeypox, all this other stuff, but I'm not even concerned. I'm concerned about that, but I'm concerned about the next and the next and the next, because let me tell you, this is the ability for them to see how they react, how we react. That whole thing is like we're guinea pigs, and you're just watching how we're going to do things and how we're going to react. Can you imagine something deadlier coming down the road? We're not ready. And what's crazy is what we just went through should have given us a clue, a little bit of a clue of how important it is to prepare for this stuff. And could you imagine something comes down the road that has a 30, 40, 50% death rate? We're in trouble. And you are only going to be able to, I hate to sound like a broken record about it's just, you're on your own, right? But nobody's coming to save you, baby. Nobody. Okay. And so you've got to do these things to prepare. I kind of sound like I'm like fear today, right? Like it's coming, but I can't help but today put on the urgency of the importance of doing the things. And pandemics, they're not going away. And so you should continue to research. You should continue to research the things that you hear when you hear of something and people are like, oh, it's no big deal. It's just one or two. Take that opportunity to learn about said thing, right? You hear the word Marburg. What is that? No. Write it down on a piece of paper. Start doing your own research. What is Marburg? Where does it come from? Can you treat it in any way? What would it take? Do we have a vaccine or not? What are the things? What are vitamins? What did old school people do for stuff? Start researching now when you hear of stuff, okay? There's different crazy things. Could you imagine plagues and all this stuff that people dealt with back then? I know a lot of people are like, well, we have modern medicine. We'd be fine. Would we? Because let me tell you, we're reactive, really bad reactive. Like we can't, we have just a bunch of dummies here. That's what it looks like. Like we don't know what we're doing. And so to think that well, we have modern medicine, a plague, we can do a plague. No big deal now. It's totally different now. Okay, brother and sister. I'm not trying to find out. Okay. But I am trying to have as much stuff on me that will assist me in any way possible in ensuring that me and my family do not die during that time period. Okay. And so going into the next one, I think pandemics are not going away. Into the next one, the dying time. I'm going to do a video on this, on talking about the dying time and what it is completely. But I think it's already started. And I think it unfortunately started, whatever your beliefs are on this last pandemic, but we are seeing an increase in deaths of people that both got it, didn't get it. It doesn't really matter, okay? It matters, but I'm going to try to keep this neutral. The facts are that we have an increase in deaths of people dying from cancers, from all these things, infertility, all types of problems with menstrual and having babies, and men in that area, lung issues, breathing issues, lots of blood clotting type stories and events that are happening, people dying from that stuff. Whatever side you're on, deaths are too much. Okay. So we've already started a dying time. And as you move forward with new pandemics, with wars, with different things happening, with drought, with famine, with this no food issue, with the no water issue, with the no meds issue, you're going to have more people die. The minute we can't get medications and we can't get prescriptions, you have a mass part of the country that is going to die off because they have life, saving meds and they haven't, and maybe they have something that they take meds for that can easily be handled in a different way, but because they didn't do the research prior, they're gonna end up dying because they can't handle it. Or you have a huge part of the society, when that starts happening, that's going to commit suicide because they are not mentally strong enough to handle this stuff. Okay, the dying time. Okay, you're going to have famine, drought, war, all these things happening all at once that people cannot handle, and they're going to be off in themselves, unfortunately. Okay, it's not going to be good. Soon I'm going to do a video just on the dying time, where I can give you guys a little bit more perspective of the history behind that and the thought processes of why we would see heavy die off. Okay. Hey, I'm back. So my tablet is not doing what I wanted to do. My video cut off. I actually talked to you guys for like a few more minutes before I realized that it cut off. So my apologies. I'm back and my video is over in regards to preparing. All I wanted to do after that, and that I went on and on to tell you, was thank you. A lot of folks reached out to me, and you basically gave me tips, let me know that you had watched my video to make sure that my ad revenue counted. You went through old videos to see if my ad revenue was counting. Just thank you so much, you guys. If you guys didn't know, the reason why I do this is because several things. One, I wanted to find a way where I could bring in income, but I could also do something that I enjoyed, talk about something that I enjoyed. Literally, what are the things that I'm doing here? And I could share it with people, and hopefully there would be a few people that would like that and would want to, maybe watch me and get something out of it, right? To teach a few people that maybe did not know about this yet, and let them do it, right? Get more prepared, get their families more prepared. And so thank you for those of you that reached out to me. I think at the end of the day, it's because a few things. I went through my little mental episode where I was like, I'm not doing videos. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know which direction I'm taking the channel. And then on top of that, I brought it down to premieres, which I love doing with you. So thank you for being here and doing this with me. However, it doesn't do me any service with my ad revenue because ads don't play during a premiere. Now, some of you guys said you went back and rewatched it just to help me out. Okay, listen, thank you for that, but please don't do that. That's not necessary. One, you have things to do. Okay, so you do not have time to rewatch my videos, okay, to help me out, right? I just think that at the end of the day, I went from making 2,000. I'm on track to make like 500 this month. Clearly, the amount of videos that I'm making matter. Okay, my views haven't changed, but my video amounts have. And so at the end of the day, if I still want to continue to make that kind of money, I'm going to have to grind, and I'm just going to have to put in the work. And that is on me. That is not on you. Okay, so I'm a big girl. I can do this. I'm going to go back to giving you guys videos every day. I am not going to take away the premieres. So on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we're still going to do this, baby. We're still going to pull up. We're still going to do these premieres. I enjoy it a lot. And then the rest of the days, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I'm going to bring you another video like I used to do before, okay? For those of you that helped me out, thank you so much. Not necessary, but thank you, okay? I really do appreciate that. And, like any other day that I've done these premieres with you guys, I've truly enjoyed myself. And I learned a lot, being able to watch the video with you, but be able to chat with you live in the chat helps me and gives me the ability to learn stuff because you guys share as you've done today. So thank you for that. No fear. This video was not meant, even though I kind of was on one, right? I was kind of amped, was kind of wanting to really show the urgency. Please remember to just stay calm, to get your mental game together. That's going to take you very, very far with anything that is going to happen, right? And, we have each other, right? So when you need to reach out to somebody, I received a beautiful email yesterday from a subscriber. Just reach out to somebody that you know. Reach out to somebody that you love and just say hello, right? Check on them, make sure they're good. I got some beautiful emails, over the weekend, but I got some that just were so touching, and I needed to 100% hear them in the way and at the time that I did, right? And so I'm thankful, and I'm thankful for you guys. So Thank you. I will see you guys tomorrow on the next video. Ooh, that's kind of exciting. Thank you for stopping by today, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye.